Hello everyone. Okay, so in today's video, I want to address a few comments. God, kittens. They might make an appearance, they might not. I wanted to address a few comments that are, I wouldn't say recurring, but they come up, every now and again. And there's three topics that I really want to cover in this video. And I will try and do so as succinctly as possible. The first one is that I am not in a larger body, and would I have recovered, as I have done, if I had recovered into a larger body? That's the first thing I want to address. The second is the fact that, the approach to recovery, this sort of unrestricted eating, is not aligned with the general approach that the current medical teams take, and that's not necessarily all medical teams. There are different variations and some are better than others, but it's, honouring all your hunger and jumping in and eating whatever you want and trusting your body is definitely not aligned with what a lot of the teams are suggesting. That's the second thing. And then the third thing is this, which relates to that jumping in, is that it's all in or nothing. And that's another thing that I want to address. So first of all, we'll start on the larger body. And this is definitely something I've had multiple messages about. And if I'm honest with you, there are limitations in how I can support people who are recovering into larger bodies because I have not been there myself. My body is my body. And this is what it recovered to. And I'm very aware of the additional struggles thanks to our society, which is a whole other thing, that people in larger bodies, with larger bodies, face in recovery. Now, I have a variety of different people that I know who have experienced that. And when people ask me for people, I share them and I say, these people are really great. They have experienced what you are experiencing, and I think that they therefore have a much more authentic voice in this. But the question of would I have recovered if I had recovered into a larger body? That is a question that does come up again, and that is something that I do feel I can answer. And I feel I can answer it because particularly when I quit Quasi, I was done. I was really, really done. I'd got to a place where actually, I had weight restored. I could go out and eat with friends and have chocolate and eat pizza and ate enough. The other people watching would be like, yeah, it's fine, she's not got a problem. And if I'd gone into any doctor surgery, they'd almost certainly have said the same thing. They'd be like, yeah, you're fine. What are you talking about? Go away. But I knew that wasn't the case. My brain, I had an eating disorder every single day, every single moment of every single day, and I was done. I was seriously done. And I think that when I quit Quasi in particular, I just committed to the fact that I really, really want to go wherever my body needed me to go in order to get free. And I really do believe that that commitment was such a deeply rooted one, and it was fueled a hell of a lot by anger and frustration and a desire to not have my brain. I genuinely just felt like I'll do anything at all to get rid of this eating disorder. And absolutely, if that means that my body needs to be larger, then bring that on. Wherever my body needs to take me, I was happy and willing to go. And I committed to that. And I did so a day at a time, every single day. I commit. I trust my body. I'm going to go where it needs me to go, and whatever that looks. And therefore, you know, when I do get those questions which ask me, well, you know, would you have done this if it had been your body had recovered larger? Yes. You know, yes. And Becky recently did a marvellous video on a similar topic to this. And I loved her response because it was so authentic and so genuine. And yes, of course, you know, I agree with her. There is that element of, I'm not really sure. I've not been in that situation. That's why at the start, you know, when I was talking about people who approach me with these kind of questions, I'll say, you know, go to these people. These are, you know, much more authentic voices in this because they have been through it. Therefore, my experience is different to those people's experiences, and I can have an open heart and understand in a way that you can as a bystander. But I can't experience that experience and know how it is to go through that because my body hasn't taken me there. And that is something that I have no control over. But I do have control over being as honest and authentic in this process as I can and sharing as openly. And, oh, hello, kitten. What are you doing? Look at this. She's not going to want to. Look at that. What's that? You're going to go, you're going to bounce, aren't you? Yeah, you are. You're going straight onto the table. Going to walk on the keyboard. Don't walk on the keyboard. That's Tika. But yeah, I'm going on here because I'm aware that it's a sensitive subject and, you know, I'm wanting to navigate it honestly and with respect and with love and with openness, and I hope that that's coming across loud and clear. But no, in terms of the question for me of would you have recovered, I think that obviously I cannot tell you that. I can't tell you exactly how it would have been because I didn't go there. But I know that when I quit Quasi, I really, really committed to going where my body needed to go. And that absolutely, deep down within me, held space for taking up as much space as I needed to take up to get well and to get better. I think that's answered that one. I thought I was going to be able to grab Nora then to be able to show you Nora. Nora, come here. This is little Nora. Hey? What's that? She's like, I'm ready. I don't want to be here. Go on then. She's the fluffy one with a little tail. Look at that. Oh, she's so cute. They're so cute. I can't put it into words. I can't put it into words. Anyway, right. So that's the first one. Second one that I wanted to talk about is this concept that, you know, the recovery that I speak about, that people like Tabitha, hello, you're only just in the slight corner of the screen. You're going to get your bum in it. Very distracting. How does anyone get anything done? Look at this tail. Look at that little thing. I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to try and turn it. She's just playing with a notepad. It's so cute. Yeah, so moving on to the second one is about this idea that the recovery that I talk about, the recovery that people like Tabitha Farrar, Becky Freestone, Danny Van Kay, like the recovery that we talk about doesn't match the recovery that a lot of medical teams are recommending, suggesting. And you're right, it doesn't. You know, and I'm not going to sit around and be like, oh yeah, no, this is the best. You know, no, it's absolutely what. You're right. You know, like it isn't. It isn't what's suggested. In fact, it's quite opposite. But I know from my own experience that the way that they were recommending I recover wasn't going to get me recovered. I'm just being honest here, you know, like it wasn't. It was probably going to get me weight restored to their level of weight restoration, which wasn't actually going to be my body's weight restoration. Yeah, it wasn't my body's weight restoration. It was there according to their charts and things. It was going to get me there, but it wasn't going to do any neural rewiring. It wasn't going to do anything about the beast that was my hunger. And in fact, I think all it did was reinforce disorder and reinforce distrust in my body. And so, no, the approach that I took to recovery very much was an offshoot of what the medical team that I was seeing recommended. But I absolutely stand by the recovery I took. And I absolutely know, without a shadow of a doubt, that the reason I am recovered and free is because I did what I did. And because I didn't do rigid meal plans. Restrictive eating within that rigid meal plan, including not honouring hunger. Oh no, only eat this. What, you're hungrier than that? Weird. Why? And a very focus, like hyper focus on weight gain and your body, but in a very distrusting kind of way. There was no message of trusting your body, embracing the necessary weight gain. It was very fear surrounded, and also the fear that was created around the types of food, this very clear, like, good, bad foods, and a very strong message that no, you absolutely cannot honour the fact that you are just wanting to eat biscuits and chocolate all the time. No, that's bad. No, I don't regret for a second turning my back on that, and I absolutely know that doing so was how I got recovered. I know that if I had gone down that pathway and I had done what they had said, I would not be recovered. I wouldn't be. And so, when it comes to this, I like to think, when we look back at medical history, there are lots of things that were poo-pooed. Like, oh no, that's weird. No. Anaesthetic. Antiseptic. The people who came up with these things were often shunned. They were just seen as like, oh, what? Antiseptic? Ridiculous. And now it's like, what? You mean you wouldn't use antiseptic and sterile conditions in surgery? What are you talking about? It's mental. And I really hope that I hope in not too long, but realistically, because of the way things go, I think it's probably going to be quite a while. I hope that, in years to come, when people are studying the incredibly niche field of the medical history of eating disorders, that they look back and go, can you believe that they ever used to tell people that, no, you can't eat when they were recovering from restrictive eating disorder? Can you ever believe that they used to create fear around eating the foods that the person wanted to eat? Can you believe that they set such obscenely low target weights and then put people on maintenance meal plans, which were just more restrictive than the recovery meal plan, even though the person was absolutely not actually weight restored and absolutely not out of energy deficit and hadn't done any neural rewiring? I really hope that in years to come, that is the view. Because I believe that the recovery I did was not that radical. Like sometimes I think, oh gosh, we're out here, aren't we? Me and, I'm putting myself on the same level as Tabitha. I'm not Tabitha's like the queen here, but like the ethos of the recovery we're suggesting, it's the same. And I think, God, we're out on a limb, we are out here being radical. And I think, no, we're not. We're literally just saying, listen to your body. The thing that your brain is literally being like, please do this. We're going, just do that. Just do the thing that your brain is desperate for you to do. you know, and treat the eating disorder like it's a mental condition and approach things with neural rewiring and opposite action, and not just be like, right, okay, we need to just eat according to this rigid meal plan and not break any rules, but just eat like that. And no, you can't be hungry outside of it. And when we'll just get to this weight, and then suddenly we'll now go on a maintenance meal plan, which is more restrictive than the previous recovery meal plan, which was also restrictive. And we'll just do, yeah, like what, you know, the recovery I took did not feel radical. In my body, at my brain, the recovery I did, which was to honour my hunger, eat without restriction, and do the opposite of what my eating disorder was saying that I should do, felt like the most natural thing in the world. And many times felt easy. You know, like that's not to dismiss that there is a fight, that it is a battle, that you have to attack, that there is a lot of very proactive doing, but also, you know, deep down it felt right. It felt good, and actually resting and eating was what my body was desperate for me to do, and not do it as like, right, we need to measure out cereal. No, just be like, right, I want cereal. I'm going to pour a big bowl and I'm just going to eat it, and I want more. I'm going to pour another bowl and I'm just going to keep doing this because I want it, you know? And yeah, so no, it is not medically ticked off. You know, there are waves being created. There are clinicians out there, medical professionals, who are getting on board with the need for nutritional rehabilitation, neural rewiring. But it's still very much in the wave stage, you know, and yeah, I stand by what I did. I stand by what I promote and the stuff I share. I stand by the fact that if I had done what the medical team suggested I did, I would not be free. I would not be recovered. I would still have twitterings in my head. I would live, you know, and I think this is where, remember as well, that the outcomes we have at the minute with the horrendously high relapse rates and the devastatingly low recovery rates, they are a product of the approach to treatment. You know, they are a product of the approach to recovery that they take, which is restrictive and fear-driven. And yeah. The third thing I want to talk about, which is very important, is this mindset, which is certainly present, that it's all in or nothing. And it's this, well, it's jumping in or it's nothing. And this is something where I do think there needs to be a conversation shift, because I do think that it can make people feel very alone, very isolated, very stuck. I absolutely believe that in order to reach a place of full recovery, you have to eat without restriction. You have to challenge all of the eating disorder tendrils, that you have to apply those opposite actions, that you have to get very intentional about doing so, that you have to stop all the compulsive movement. But these are facts, you know, in terms of my approach to recovery, these things are kind of factual. But very many different ways to get to that place, and that your journey to eating disorder freedom is as unique as you are. You know, there are commonalities, there are trends, and I do believe that in order to be free, we have to get to that place where we do eat without restriction, walk headfirst into fear, stop all of the compulsive movement, apply opposite actions to every single little eating disorder tendril that we seek out. But how we get there varies, and we need to create a space where people feel welcome and valid in that. So the reason I wanted to speak to that, I had a comment that was about, you know, starting recovery and how you go from being very much in a restrictive place to jumping in, and how that can feel overwhelming. And yes, it can. And this is where I think I quite like to use the phrase hop, skip and a jump. You know, I do believe that we have to get to that point where we are opposite action, rebellious, unrestricted eating, no compulsive movement. How you get there looks different. You know, some people absolutely do just go from 0 to jumping in. But a lot of people, in fact, I would say the majority, myself included, did more of a hop, skip and a jump, you know, and that hop and that skip varies a lot, can look very different, but it is a thing. And if that hop, skip and a jump involves using some kind of a plan, some kind of a meal plan, again, I'd recommend that it's as minimum based as possible, and therefore I mean that there is this awareness that if you are hungry you eat more, but it's there, and it's a case of saying to yourself, right, okay, actually maybe I need some additional support to be able to get me to the place where I jump in, and that does not detract from the value of the work you are doing. You know, actually having, often in recovery, in order to awaken our hunger, we have to force feed. And having some kind of backbone structure along the lines of, say, 3 meals and 3 snacks absolutely is conducive to doing that. You know, and I know for me, actually, I did do that. I had probably, again, it's a long time ago now, so I think it was probably a week, 2 weeks, something like that, where I committed to 3 meals, 3 snacks, and they were proper meals and proper snacks. And this is where you can ask loved ones for support in what is an appropriate snack and an appropriate meal, and use things like Tabitha Farrar talks about, you know, a hearty pub meal. Girls, please don't kill each other. They make weird, like, the weirdest noises when they play with each other. And I don't know if you can hear that. I'm not sure if the camera's picking that up, but they're like in like headlock with each other. I've lost my train of thought again. Oh, you're doing the same thing as you did last time. You're so lovely, but you are right in the screen. Apologise, but I needed to do that. Bless your heart. You're so. If I just pull it out a bit. Animals are so distracting, but I needed to do that basically in my recovery. You know, that was my hop and a skip. I had that basic minimum, and do you want to just lie down? Lie down? Do you want to lie down? No, that's just closer. You're just sitting. Lie down. Come on. Lie down. No, you just want to sit there. This is so awkward. You are not an Instagram. You're not a YouTube friend. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you jump? Bless your heart. Oh, she's so lovely. I do love her so much. You're very sleepy. You've got very big sleepy eyes. Why don't you just lie down? That's it. That's it. Yeah, look, if I just move this table slightly. There you go. Is that better? Lie down. There we go. Good. Sorry, guys. What was I saying? About the milk. Yeah, you know, I needed to do that. And actually for me, I did it for a couple of weeks and my mental hunger was blasting. And then I committed to honouring it. And that was when I jumped, so to speak. You know, those couple of weeks where I had that baseline minimum and I was making sure that everything was a challenge. You know, I think that was probably my overall theme of how I knew if something was appropriate. Everything was a challenge. I don't know what they've just done. Everything was a challenge. You know, and if you were to kind of put really scary, kind of scary, actually not scary, you know, eating disorder approved, I shifted away from that. Everything, all of those meals, all of those snacks were in some way annoying my eating disorder. I think that was the general sort of theme that I used to push through those bits, and doing so awakened my hunger. It got the ball rolling. It picked up some momentum, and then I committed to honouring my hunger. And I had that kind of baseline backbone as a thing to fall back on, but realistically my mental hunger was pretty intense. So I didn't really need it, but it was there. It was a commitment in the background, and it was something which helped me as that hop and a skip, you know. And so in terms of this feeling of, right, oh my gosh, how do I start? I really probably do is some kind of a video of a day of me recreating that hop and skip, you know? And I feel like I'm going to have to stop talking soon because this video is incredibly long. But I just really wanted to come on, you know, and say, actually, yes, I really do believe unrestricted eating, stopping all compulsive movement, that is what is required to get completely free of the eating disorder. But that it's not all in or nothing. You know, there are shades of grey in this. And those shades of grey recovery approaches need to be made to feel valid, and they are important. And that at the end of the day, if you are rebelling against your eating disorder and you are walking into fear and you are sitting through discomfort, then what you are doing is going to be taking you towards a closer place. And if we think in terms of, you know, where you want to be and where you are now, if you are doing work to close the gap on that, then that's valid. You know, be honest with yourself. You know, actually, are you riding the waves of previous wins? You know, are you still doing stuff which, yeah, a few months ago was scary, but now it's not? You know, be vigilant about that. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep that intensity up, you know, and that is crucial. But I want it to be known that it is possible to do more of a hop, skip and a jump, and that it doesn't need to be this, oh my gosh, I don't know how to jump, I don't know how to jump, the terror. You know, you absolutely have complete permission to jump at any time whatsoever, but do not allow the jump to become this block that means you don't do anything, because that is just buying into your eating disorder. And that actually there are very many ways in which you can implement change and push forwards and do that hop and that skip that is valuable and that is progress within your recovery and that is taking you towards a place where you want to be and the life that you want to live and the you that you want to be. You know, it's taking you towards you. And yeah, anyway, I hope that has answered some of those questions. You know, I know that one of the comments I had in particular, there was a lot of fear around, you know, just absolutely not knowing how to go from years and years of restriction to just force feeding yourself 24/7 and doing everything. And I really, you know, that is where this kind of hop, skip and a jump can be valuable. And to not, like I say, allow yourself to just be on the starting line with this wall of you have to jump in or nothing. You know, and I say again, everybody watching this, every single person in recovery has complete permission to jump in right here, right now. And I do believe that in order to get free, you do have to eat without any restriction. And you do have to walk into all of your fear. And you do have to stop all of the compulsive movement and all of the measuring and all of the weighing and all of that stuff. And the body check, you have to stop. But there are multiple different ways to get to that place. You know, it can absolutely be from 0 to stopping everything. It absolutely can. Rock that. You know, if that is you, embrace that, dive in, do it. But actually, if you're aware that maybe there needs to be a hop and a skip, focus your attention on that. You know that actually you can use things like meal plans as tools as part of that hop and skip. As I say, you know, I hope that this has created some clarity. I hope it's been useful. It's really nice to just sit and chat, and I realise it's so long, I'm sorry. But there's a lot of big topics and I wanted to get through them, and I hope that it has, yeah, I hope it's helpful. And thank you again for all your support. You know, it really does mean the world to me. And like I say, I might not be able to comment back to every comment, but I read everything, and yeah, it's just lovely. So anyway, I'm going to go. I've got this lovely doggo right here. She's only with us for another 4 days. And then the kittens definitely sounded like they just pulled something over in the other room. So I'm going to go and see what that is. And yeah, anyway, lovely to speak to you. Take care and have a good day.